How's it going, everyone? We've got a ton of updates to go over on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games. Project the Perceiver is a game I feel like is building a little bit of hype and anticipation. This is more of a wait-and-see approach for me as far as this game goes, and I'll explain why when I talk about it, but it just got a 45-minute developer gameplay introduction video, so I want to talk a little bit about that. We have an update on Final Fantasy VII and its future. It looks like there's going to be a lot of content coming for the foreseeable future, and Dragon's Dogma 2 maybe getting some more information here very shortly. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, Chinese open world action title Project the Perceiver has gotten a brand new gameplay video with 45 minutes of gameplay. Now, to say the very least, the gameplay looks very, very impressive, and I'm happy that they rolled out a significant gameplay demo here, because I think the issue, and what I mentioned at the top, that this is going to be a wait-and-see approach for me, is like a lot of the times we see these games that look incredible from a technical standpoint. There's a game that I'm totally forgetting the name of, done by that Korean studio. It looks incredible from a visual standpoint, and I'm like, yo, like, I gotta see more of this game before I actually believe it. It was that game that had, like, some technical issues. I totally am blanking on the name of it right now. And then there's games like Black Myth Wukong, which I'll point to right away, and it's like, yo, are we ever actually gonna, like, get our hands on these games, or are they just gonna be this figment of my imagination that I'll be very excited for but never get to play? Lost Soul Aside is kind of teetering on that, in the sense that it's been announced for so long, the game looks so good, but it's like, is it too good to be true? And with Project the Perceiver, when you roll out a 45-minute gameplay demo, okay, I'm still going with the wait-and-see approach with it, but it's 45 minutes of gameplay. You're talking a lot about it. That makes me feel more confident that this game is gonna see the light of day, and it will be something to keep your eyes on. But a lot of the times, and I see it in the comment section a lot more recently, that a lot of people just, and not just on my comment section, but social media in general, when we see games that technically look very impressive and they look like they're pushing the envelope a little bit, it is a little hard to believe, and you're just like, you know what, when we get a release date, when we get some definitive information about when these games are actually coming out, that's when you'll get excited for it. But nonetheless, the game does have a lengthy overview section. It notes, in a quagmire of endless war, conviction is your only way out. Observe every facet of the world and witness a kaleidoscope of ideals. Project the Perceiver is a multi-platform Chinese open world game developed by Paper Games 17 ZHE Studio. The game explores clashing beliefs in a fantasy world, experience a chaos-ridden world, and meet a variety of characters as the Master of Veritas. Consolidate their distinctive ideals into mass and engage in the fiercest battle. The game's world and backstory notes, turmoil in the annals of history, an era of chaos is merely a few words, yet ordinary people can suffer for generations to come. Miscellaneous records of the Book of Omens explore numerous secrets lie hidden in places you have yet to explore. Domains, the world you perceive is the world that exists. Dueling, sometimes it takes a clash of arms to see a person for who they are. Characters note, Mask of Devotion, my play does not require an audience when everyone under heaven is involved. And Mask of Umbra, where there is shadow, there will be light, and the shadow is thus validated and to be announced. We got an announcement trailer back in November, but this is a lengthy gameplay demo that really lets you sink your teeth into what to expect out of the game. So, you know, temper your expectations, temper your excitement for now, and being a cross-gen game, and a game that technically does look pretty impressive, but, you know, the PlayStation 4 is still capable of some impressive stuff, but, you know, sometimes we get games on there that performance-wise, leave a lot to be desired, so maybe this will ultimately end up being a next-gen title, but it notes PlayStation 5 and 4, so we'll see how that ultimately turns out. Okay, a game that I am confident that we're gonna see either in late 2023 or early 2024, that is the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. However, it looks like there might be more Final Fantasy VII content coming well after that. Now, we know that this is gonna be a trilogy. The remake, this is a trilogy of Final Fantasy VII, but Yoshinori Kitase, a director and producer for Final Fantasy, as noted on Siliconera, noted, for 2023, Kitase's keyword is 7, and he added that this will be his keyword for several years to come. Now, obviously, if we assume that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is coming late 2023 or early 24, it was noted winter 2023, and if you take into that account, Crisis Core was noted for winter 2022, and I thought that was going to bleed into 2023, but we got it in the winter, so it could be that 7 Remake Part 2 is a late 2023 game, which would be wildly impressive to me if Square Enix really plans to drop Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 within like a 6-month period, and if nothing else, else, even if it's early 2024, that's like an 8-month window where you're getting both titles, and that's pretty incredible in terms of big budget Square Enix JRPGs. But nonetheless, you know, Final Fantasy VII is an IP and has a cast of characters that, from a commercial standpoint, just thinking about it from a business sense, why would Square Enix want to move on from this? Cloud is an iconic character, and yes, I get it that at some point milking Final Fantasy VII to death is going to wane, but we are not at that point yet. We are not close to that point, and Final Fantasy VII has such a huge world to explore, and there are so many characters that you could develop. You can do spin-off games. You could do accessory titles. There's a lot you can do with Final Fantasy VII that will bleed beyond just the remake and, you know, part 1, 2, and 3. You can do a game that's centered around Vincent. You could do a remaster of Dirge of Cerberus. I would personally like an entirely new game because, let's be honest, Dirge of Cerberus was an okay game, but Vincent deserves more love than Dirge of Cerberus. That's just my 2 cents, but there's so much potential. You could do a Final Fantasy VII remake that is literally a remake of the original game, and people will probably buy that. There's a lot you could do with Final Fantasy VII as an IP, and I'm just thinking about it from a business standpoint. Why would you want to move on from it, given the commercial juggernaut that FF7 is? You know, Square Enix moved on from it for a while, and the other Final Fantasies did great. Final Fantasy X, 12, 13, those all sold well. But do any of them have the cultural impact in the gaming world, at least, that Final Fantasy VII did? I wouldn't say so. Maybe you can make an argument that Final Fantasy X got kind of close to there, but not even that, really. You know, none of those games people have been clamoring for a remake for a very, very long time, since 2005, really, when we saw that tech demo. So, you know, if I'm thinking about it strictly from a business standpoint and how do I maximize profit and sales, Final Fantasy VII is a world I continued to develop for a long time, beyond just this remake trilogy. You keep making stories, you keep doing what you can to develop the world of FF7, because I think for a long time you can, make a lot of money. Let's just put it that way. Like, I'm not talking about what I want from a personal standpoint. I'm talking about how does Square Enix, a business, make the most money they can. I think, you know, pumping out as much Final Fantasy VII content that they can is going to be very effective. And again, there's a lot of things you could do as far as developing this world, doing games for other characters, and yeah, I think people would check it out. You know, there's only so far you can go. At some point, it will wane, but I don't think we're even close to that point at this stage of the game, and I think people are just going to be clamoring for more FF7 content. Maybe by the time Part 3 comes out, we'll be like, alright, we've had our fix of this, but we'll ultimately see. Like, I've always mentioned when we talk about the FF7 remake, look, going forward, with the story taking a shift from the original, I don't think it's too much of a spoilerific to say that. You know, it's either gonna be really good or it's gonna be a train wreck. Either way, I'm gonna laugh at it or I'm gonna have a really good time with it. So I'm excited. I'm excited for FF7 and to see where Square Enix does take FF7 as a whole. Lastly, another game I'm excited for, Dragon's Dogma 2. Probably not gonna see that game for quite a while, but Japanese publication Famitsu asked a number of game creators involved in the production of popular games and their aspirations for the year 2023. Dragon's Dogma 2's game director noted that he is very immersed in the development of the game and that he hopes to release more info soon. Bear in mind that this game, while it's probably relatively, you know, making progress in terms of development, it's still gonna be a ways away before it sees an official release. I would expect late 2024, like around that time frame. I'm just happy that the game is in development because so many people have been wanting this game for a long, long time. Dragon's Dogma is one of those games that, you know, initially it did whatever. Maybe it didn't do the best sales numbers in the world, but then you got Dark Arisen, then you got the PC release, then you got the PlayStation 4 release, and over time, it has built kind of like a cult following that people really like the game. And nowadays, you can get Dragon's Dogma for like sub $5, so a lot of people check it out. A lot of people realize, hey, this is a really good action RPG, even though it's a little challenging at times, maybe a little too challenging, but nonetheless, Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm just happy it's coming, and it seems like Capcom is really going the route of doing the games that people really want to see happen, so I hope they continue to do that. I mean, they're doing the Battle Network collection, which people have wanted for a very long time, and they're doing Dragon's Dogma 2. Maybe we'll get an Okami sequel at some point. I wouldn't hold my breath for that one, but we'll see. But that'll do it for me. Again, Project the Perceiver gets 45 minutes of new gameplay. Final Fantasy VII looks like this is going to be a IP that Square Enix is going to develop for the long term. Again, there's a lot you could do with FF7 beyond just the trilogy remake, so we'll see how that'll turn out. And Dragon's Dogma 2 director is hoping to release more information on the game soon. Hopefully we'll hear that in early 23. That'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.